The other story we've been following is Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M rolling the dice here with his eligibility. What do you do? What do you know? What does somebody else know? Is there, as I said, if 2 videos come forward, that doesn't mean there aren't many, many more. And I also wanted to know why these collectors turned on Johnny Manziel, because there has to be an end game for everybody here. And I was reading Bruce Feldman's column with CBSSports.com, and he talked about when Johnny trademarked his name, he went Johnny Football. All of a sudden, that seemed to change things. And Bruce Feldman joining us now on loan from CBS Sports to clear that up. So is that the end game for these guys who turned him in, Bruce?
You know, Dan, from the guy I talked to who's a memorabilia dealer in Tampa, he said he's getting a real kick out of watching Johnny Manziel kind of squirm in the NCAA crosshairs right now because, as he explained it, back when Manziel's lawyers trademarked the name Johnny Football, he said his eBay account, like many other memorabilia dealers' eBay accounts, got suspended, and they were banned for 2 weeks in a prime month of the year when they make a lot of money. And he said, look, I didn't have any actual signed Johnny Manziel items. I did have stuff he billed as Johnny Manziel things, like a Heisman program that he actually got from the Heisman. And he said, but it's eBay, just in a panic move, saw anything related to Johnny Football or Johnny Manziel and banned everybody's accounts. He said, you know, there's like 500 people out there. And he said, if anybody has an axe to grind, pick any of those people because they lost a lot of money. He said for some of them, it cripples their business.
What's next?
You know, if you're a Texas A&M fan, you got to cringe and hope, oh, God, there's going to be more stuff coming out. There are going to be more dealers coming out. I think one of the things we've seen in the last couple of days, or the realization that these guys use, whether it's photographic evidence or will try to videotape, as this one person apparently did, for authentication purposes. Now, what this dealer had told me yesterday was they do many, on the level, above board signings with NFL players, and he said even when we try to take out a camera or video equipment, they're like, no, don't do that. And he said, so I find it hard to believe that a college player would be stupid enough to get caught being, doing this on videotape or, photograph. But obviously we've seen the picture of Johnny Manziel signing some pictures from that hotel room. The big issue here is going to be, what can the NCAA prove? I mean, that's the upshot. If he in fact did this, can the NCAA prove that he accepted money? And keep in mind, as this guy told me yesterday, this business is almost entirely a cash business, and cash is really hard for the NCAA to operate against.
You think the story's true?
I don't know. They always say where there's smoke, there's fire. Whether we think it's true or not, there's a lot of stuff I think to be true about NCAA athletics and people, dirty dealing and buying recruits and paying for players' mothers and to have better houses and things like that. I suspect them, but we're not in the business really of suspecting. We're in the business of what's actually, can be proven.
You talked to South Carolina yesterday about Jadeveon Clowney with memorabilia. What was the conversation like?
They said they looked into it, and they said that there was no violation. But, going forward with this, I'm told there's a lot of people who have done small deals. I talked to a bunch of coaches that think their players probably have taken or gotten some money for signing some things along the way. And look, let's not be naive about this. Everybody, including, I work for CBS. We have a big TV contract with the SEC. ESPN has huge billion-dollar TV contracts. These players, because they're on Twitter, because they're not naive, they see everybody else making money off them. To think that somebody's going to throw money at them and offer them $100 here or there, I think it'd be foolish to think some of these guys haven't accepted it.
You think Manziel starts the season?
Depends. If nothing else comes forward, I think he probably does. But if there is more information, I think at some point Manziel is going to has already had or will have a conversation with the NCAA where it's point blank. Did you accept money for signing these things? Where did you go? Some of these things, and I'm sure he's had those conversations with A&M. I don't know the answer to them. I just know that, look, A&M also hired the same law firm that Auburn had when it went through the Cam Newton case, when a lot of us thought, wow, Cam Newton and Auburn, they're not going to be able to get to the national title game, much less keep it, and they still got it. So, we'll see. I mean, I've learned not to be shocked by anything, especially as it relates to college sports, but it's going to be an interesting month. I mean, because I think there's a lot of risk going on, and we just don't know what exactly Johnny Manziel or his buddy Nate Fitch really know exactly what happened and who did what.
Can this change NCAA? Can it change star players, capitalizing on their likeness? Can he be that guy who is, for lack of a better expression, a Curt Flood type for the NCAA and the athletes?
I think it could change. I'm not sure if it changes with Johnny Manziel. The NCAA is so panicked about breaking up its quote-unquote level playing field, which quite honestly is a complete farce. If you get recruited to Alabama, they can offer you in terms of, and I'm not just saying necessarily money, I'm not saying that, but they can offer you so much more than, say, South Alabama can in terms of exposure, resources, everything just about around that. And so it's not that way. The problem I think the NCAA looks at is such a slippery slope where they can say, all right, if guys are going to be able to make some money or something off their likeness, well, what's going to happen when some booster is going to rig it where he says, hey, I'm going to offer this kid $5,000 just for his signature on a photo? I mean, where does that stop? How do they police that? I mean, they can't police it now. And people look at it and go, well, Johnny Manziel comes from all this money, and he's if anybody needs it, it wouldn't be him. It's some poor kid. And why, first they were like outraged why he, if it's true, why he would have done it. Well, look, there's, millionaire celebrities who won't go to like some award show unless they get a swag bag. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's kind of human nature with a lot of people. It's like, hey, everybody else is getting it. What more can I get? So, the NCAA's got a lot of problems on its hands, and this is one of them.
Good to visit with you, Bruce. Good work.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dan.
All right, Bruce Feldman, CBS Sports.